Going on with y'all, man? It's your boy Smitty, the elephant in the room. We back for another edition of Addressing the Elephant in the Room. Let's talk about it. Today I got two special guests. One sitting in the middle, you probably know him, man, from back in the day, boxing's golden era, as they like to call it. My man, Mr. Barry Hunter. And then to the right of him, I know y'all know him from all this viral content on the Instagram. They call him Boog on the Mitts. You just seen him with some of your own, Virginia's own Troy Isley, Brooklyn, New York's own, a new world IBF world champion, Richardson Hitchens. And of course, you just seen him with one of his favorite fighters, Gervonta Tank Davis, man. How y'all brothers feeling?
Man, we slow motion.
Just chilling, man.
Just chilling, man.
Oh, yeah.
You're coming off a fresh win Saturday with one of your young prospects, Nasheed Smith. How was that good to see that?
Oh man, it was what was expected because of the hard work we put in. So, like I said, if you and it would have got him belong in, then get him out of there, man.
Get him out of there. You don't get paid for overtime.
Nah, exactly. That's it. Man. You don't get paid by the hour. You get paid by the pound.
Paycheck can be the same. Get him out the first or the last one.
Either way, you get paid when you sign that dotted line for it.
Damn right.
Gotcha, man. So what got y'all both into boxing, man?
What got me into boxing, it was, I was going in the rec, Lincoln Rec, where the gym, where our gym originated from. It was a recreation center in Lincoln. And we used to go in there, play ping pong, shoot pool or whatever. And I just seen a guy named Marshall Cunningham. He had like a little pad, and he had the guys punching on the pad. And I went in there. I said, let me go over here. I used to fight a lot in the streets, so I figured I had hands. You know what I'm saying? Go over there, and I just, went over there, started, and hit the pad or whatever. Then, was coming in there every day, and they was doing it every day, and it just turned to a gym. Started getting some equipment in there, and that's how it started off with me with the boxing. You know what I'm saying? And surely Coach Barry came, you know what I'm saying? Because our program wasn't, people ain't know too much. It wasn't even HeadBangers yet.
Okay, what was it?
It was Powell Lincoln.
Powell Lincoln.
And, once Barry came, and, he kind of, started working with the kids, and, it took off then, you know what I'm saying? And then came HeadBangers with, world champions and, Olympians, national champions, man. That's how it all started, That's how I got into it.
How about you, Mr. Barry?
Bullies. I hate bullies.
Ain't nothing wrong. I hate them.
I mean, with a passion. I had gotten bullied before when I was a kid living in Northeast.
Northeast group.
716 8th Street, to be exact, Northeast. And Joker took my money one day. I never forget this shit, even to this day. And then I heard Ali's voice one time on the radio. He was getting ready to fight Frazier, won, right? And I had never heard nobody speak that type of confidence before. And so when I finally got a chance to see who he was, and I admired him so much, because he had so much courage. And I never wanted to feel the way I felt that day that I got bullied. So I'm gonna turn this around. So I got to boxing scene, number 14 Boys and Girls Club, second. The first was Better Star. I don't know if you know where that is. That's on East Capitol.
East Capitol. I'm familiar with the area. I don't know exactly.
All right, and they took us from, I was playing baseball at the time. So they took us from the baseball down to the boxing gym. And that's where it started for me. Got my ass handed to me the first day. And after that, I had to learn fast. And then when I got to the Boys Club, I ended up running into this kid one day from the area named Marvin Lee, and he came. The coach was gone. I was still in the gym. He came and asked me, "Could I teach him how to box?" I know from the area. I said, "I don't know how to teach nobody how to box." He says, I said, "You come back tomorrow and gym will be in the morning." And he said, "Nah, man," he said, "I want you to teach me." Right? So his coach, he used to take martial arts. You say you're familiar with that area?
Yeah.
All right, so if you go Minnesota Avenue, Greenway Shopping Center,
I
of course it's not there no more.
Yeah, I know where when it was though.
It used to be, it became Discount Mart after a while, but that was number 14 Boys and Girls Club.
Okay.
And so the dude that was teaching them martial arts, Mr. Ron, came over and said he was okay with me helping him. And so I didn't want to get in trouble, so I was putting his combinations to numbers and symbols and signs that only him and I knew.
Right.
And man took flight, man. He stopped the first fight he ever had, C. Pleasant Break, right?
See, Pleasant, that's in Maryland for all that.
Maryland, C. Pleasant, right? And I got a high from that I've been chasing ever since. So that's how I started.
Gotcha, man. So since y'all both spoke on DC, you, Mr. Hunter, you spoke on bullying, that's what got you into you. Boog spoke on it from the street, did a record.
Yeah.
How y'all feel DC, Washington, DC as a city, not just boxing, but as a city, influenced y'all in y'all lives and shaped y'all lives? That's what y'all are today.
Well, I mean, if you're from this city, you know this city. I mean, I've been here for 62 years.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the riots, you know, went through, you know, the hood wars, assassinations. Literally, what's the name of that movie they talk about P.D. Green?
What's it?
Can we talk or something like that?
Something like that.
If you watch that movie, in that movie, when King was assassinated, when they announced him being assassinated, you'll see they're going to show footage, real footage of that day, that night, right? And I remember that shit, you know, like it was yesterday, because our porch caught on fire, you know, shooting up. We was in a brownstone, so it shot from one story all the way up to the top. We had to get out of there. So I remember those times, you know what I mean? But as a whole, I remember my high school there, went to Easton High School. I lived on Bridge Road, you know, on Minnesota Avenue, so I was in the zone, you know what I mean? But nevertheless, I wouldn't trade this city for nothing in the world, to be honest with you.
Chocolate City,
I love DC. I was there when it was Chocolate City.
It ain't too much Chocolate City now, but they trying to.
You got some
fix
caramel,
that.
you got some vanilla.
Milk chocolate.
Yeah, it's mixed up now. It's mixed up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, me, it was just, you know, like I wasn't rise out like just a baby or
Yeah,
project.
you wasn't.
But just, man, just back in the days, the go-go bands and stuff
Black
like that. Yeah, Black Hole. I mean, I didn't go to go-go as much, you know what I'm saying? But just I used to love the music.
Club, absurd,
Yeah, and,
yeah, the panorama, bro.
yeah, just, you know, back then it wasn't, you know, you wasn't too much shooting. You know, you could square up and, you know, you knuckle it out, and after that, man, you back playing or whatever, chasing their feet, you know, but it ain't like it is
Young
now.
scared to get punched in their mouth and
Yeah,
punched back in their
right,
mouth.
right.
It was
You-
if I lost and my pride was hurt, all right, you
Right.
see me again the next day.
You
Wasn't I
we
gonna
used
get
to
it
call it
flipped
matching
enough?
up.
Yeah, right.
Match it up.
man.
You can go to the neighborhood. If you went to those principles, you gonna match it up. That's
Yeah.
what it was. You feel me?
Yeah,
Even if you get dropped, you ain't even get stomped out. Oh boy, don't get back up. You know what I
I
mean?
wouldn't trade DC, man, for nothing.
Nah.
Yeah, I think now that I was born and raised in DC. You know, maybe other people feel like that about where they came from.
You DC, so
Yeah,
that's what
that's-
you know. Some
that's
people
right.
know
There you
Philly,
go.
some
Yeah,
people know
that's
Baltimore,
it.
New York,
Born and
LA,
raised, too.
But they know, you know, born and raised Washington DC, and ain't nothing wrong with that.
Right.
And it's crazy because you could take a person out of the city if they really from the city, right? And something about the swag, the way they move, talk, whatever.
They gonna know you
Yeah.
you from that area. Yeah. So what keeping y'all motivated to this day? Is just from y'all roots from DC, keeping y'all motivated to keep giving back in the community? And I ask that because, you know, the world we know, we're gonna talk about your two hot prospects y'all got. We're gonna talk about that later on. But you also got some amateurs that fight in this gym and come. And then you also got people that just come in this gym to get workouts and just to get away from the environment. What is that part of what keeping y'all motivated to stay in the community?
It's a part of it, but mainly just working with the kids. You know what I'm saying? And trying to keep them off the street. So, you know, like I said, just helping them be a part of something. You know, because like I said, you know, everybody not gonna be a world champion or national champion or Olympian or whatever. Just, you know, this gym has helped a lot of kids. You know, as far as they came here when they were 8, 9. You know, they might be in their 20s and 30s. But the program been running for over 30 years since I was young. You know what I'm saying? I'm 52 years old.
And you don't look like you just got in your 40s.
Wow, man, thank you. Nah, but you know, like I said, yeah, give them part of something, you know, to be a part of, and you know, help them be productive in life, man. We done lost a few, and a few of them in the, in the feds locked up to this day. They still call us, you know what I'm saying? Because them kids we work with,
making an impact on someone's life. That's
right.
life.
So they still know us as coaches. You know what I'm saying? But it's just and like I said, it was done for me as a youngster. I didn't know a lot, coming off the streets or whatever. People like Barry, pretty much gave me the game and taught me about life, period. Because when you're young, you out there, you ain't thinking about having your own house, or you ain't thinking about life insurance. You ain't thinking about none of that stuff.
About what you're gonna eat that night and what clothes you gonna wear that night.
That's it. But when when guys, like him start talking to me about stuff like that, it make you wonder. Even when you're in the streets, you just standing out there. What you just standing out there for? You ain't standing out there to be standing. So they, the police or whatever, they know you're doing something. You know what I'm saying? You're not just standing out there for nothing. I never thought about that. I'm just just living for the day or whatever. But that's what helped me in boxing. As far as teaching me about life. It ain't just about fighting, throwing punches or whatever. It's about life, learning things like hygiene, all type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So stuff that you didn't know. So that's why I love boxing. That's why I always say, boxing saves lives, man. You know what I'm saying? They call it a brutal sport or whatever. They don't know what come behind it. You know what I'm saying? It's bonding, it's everything. You know what I'm saying? And people look forward to coming here. Kids look forward to coming here. And we all go through things at home, but this here is a safe haven for everybody. The coaches and the kids. That's why that's why I got to give back. I mean, I know Coach B say he probably be retired or whatever. I don't know. I might do this till I go to the grave. You know what I'm saying? I love it because even if I'm retired and I'm not doing nothing, I'ma still come in this gym. You know what I'm saying? And like I can be a millionaire, whatever. Hopefully that happens. But if it don't, but I can be that. I'ma still come in the gym. You know what I'm saying? And it's just in me. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I grow old and get tired of it, but for right now, I just feel like I ain't
might
never
be
get
like
tired
Freddie
of it.
Roach, both of y'all. You see Freddie Roach pushing his age, he's still going. His main man, Bob in his 90s, and
He's
still
right.
He's still yelling at reporters he don't like. He's still doing it.
Break out of here.
I was gonna bring that up. I just seen that the other day on Twitter when he was at the highlight with him and Deric. They went at what's my man name from there? He's with the ring now. Mike Oppinger. I seen that video. I started crying last night. I said, "Yo, Bob, this look like it's only about 4 or 5 years old."
But the thing I always admired about him is he's straightforward. Man.
Yeah.
He'll tell you what's on his mind. You know what I mean? And but that's my dude. Yeah.
So what keeps you motivated to keep giving back to the community outside of your roots and
But I'm just community based. You know what I mean? I'm a freedom fighter for the people. That's what I do. According to the scriptures, when you from the truth, you hear the truth, you're gonna know the truth. You feel me? And so when I see, the need or what's going on in these communities, in these gyms, stuff like that, because I hear a lot of people sitting on the sideline and they complaining about what the kids doing, what they're not doing.
but they not out there trying to make an impact. People complain about stuff. That's one of the things I hate the most. When people complain, DC, I ain't going out there. Look at Southeast, look at Southwest, look at Northeast. I ain't messing with them. If I ain't going to Northwest where the schools at, I ain't going to. I'm like, all right, so what positive impact are you trying to put forward?
Okay,
because I understand money's tight for everybody, but to give an impact don't always mean financial.
It's not always monetary. It's never been monetary based for the most part. You feel me? It's like he said, like what he said. If you just spend 30 minutes to an hour with somebody's kids, not even necessarily always about your own. See, it's easy to help your own.
Yeah.
But when you extend your hand to help other people that are in need, that's a big difference. You know what I mean? And then you gotta ask yourself. In fact, I asked all of them before. In your entire life, right? Think about this for a second. In your entire life, how many people can you say that you actually helped that didn't benefit you back directly? You ask the average person that, they can't say shit. You know what I mean? Think about that for a second.
I mean, when you said that touching, I had to think.
Yeah. And that's a lot of people. not nothing to be embarrassed about. A lot of times you haven't been taught to look out for nobody except yourself or your own. Feel me? So we gotta extend that, man, because this is this war you see out there is not just physical; it's more spiritual than it is physical. Feel me? I mean, and you know, back in the day, when we was out of order, you know, in the projects when I stayed, you know, and you know, Miss Sally next door or Miss Jones right here, because most of them was women. You know, keep it real with you. You know what I mean? They'll straighten you out, right? You know what I mean? Every once in a while, you may have a male somewhere around there that was, you know, going up and up, that'll do the same thing, or the boys on the corner. They'll take your ass back around the block. You know what I mean? You don't have that no more. You know what I mean? You missing all that. So, and then the more and more and more it go on, you know what I mean? Even now, this life we live is about views and likes. That's
all
it,
is real.
right? About
It's
views
a
and likes.
microwave society.
Yeah, even you see people getting beat down on videos, getting shot up on videos, and somebody filming it. You know what I mean? You ain't think to help or call the police, do whatever. You know what I mean? To prevent that from happening. And it ain't just kids or youth or, you know, regular older people too. Yeah, man, so somewhere along the line, we done lost our way, bro. So to answer your question in short, what keep me coming back because the need is there.
Need is dead. All right, the need is dead. We need more men in society. Not
Good
enough.
question.
There's too many yes men. It's not enough men. It's too many yes men.
We talked about that the other day. People are so afraid of this internet and this Instagram and all that, what somebody will say and think about you, what have you. But if you got kids, right? If you got a mom, a sister, a dad, or whatever, or brother, do you really want to see them go through this garbage?
I don't know. It make you not want to have kids almost because it make you not want to have that pain of having to see them go through this.
Yeah,
And
so-
then like you just said, it's all about clicks and views. So you might see them, if someone reporting the negativity going on.
Yeah.
Negativity sells. Positivity will get you respect. But negativity is what gets you dollars in today's world.
If that's what's so just so I get that. 100% right? So to me, that's being a prostitute.
Pretty much.
You feel me? The same shit. It ain't what you sell it. It's how much would you sell it for. But that's what it is.
Yep.
You feel me? So at some point, man, your morals, your scruples, your honor, all that gotta jump in first before that dies.
Absolutely.
My way of thinking anyway.
Nah, that's a hell of a way of thinking. You gotta shake your hand on that one. That's a hell of a way of thinking. You gotta bring morals and integrity back so we can breed the next generation.
You have to, man. You have
Absolutely.
to. They're in trouble. As it stands right now, if things keep going the way they're going right now, you know what I mean? Like I hear people complaining about eggs and gas and rent and, you know, just everything, right? You know what I mean? And I understand, you know what I mean? You get people that are our age, right? Or above, right? Never had a job. You know, everything was about the hustle, blah, 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 blah. But you can't do those things no more. And you gotta rely on retirement or, you know, Social Security or what have you. You ain't put in, bro. So what you gonna do?
You can't hustle your whole life.
Yeah. What you gonna retire on? When you get too old to do whatever it is you're supposed to be able to do. We gotta start thinking different. We gotta change our whole way of thinking everything.
Like you said, it's the microwave society. It's about what can happen fast, quick, in a hurry instead of the longevity. The longevity way of thinking, whereas I want to think about what's going to be around for my great-grandkids, then went out the window and it's about what's going to be around for me. It's Tuesday today, what's going to be around for me by Monday.
Yeah, it's scary when you think about it. You get to be my age or older, right? And you don't have no income, nothing. Hell, at least
That's the worst feeling in the world.
Worst
When you're
feeling in the
age,
world.
You gotta go walk into one of them buildings asking for help just to keep a roof over your head.
and you know, like I know on the average, you know, even people that have kids or some sort of families, you know, and God, I hope I never have to experience that. You know what I mean? But you get to be a certain age and you can't do for yourself. You can't clean yourself. You can't feed yourself. That type of stuff. who gonna be there for you? And that's a real question you gotta ask.
Real shit. That's a real question. Coach Barry and Coach Boog just dropped some hell of a gems to start this interview. They Coach Barry and Boog came in cooking. They said no microwave. I'm gonna give you the oven right here. I like it though. I like it. But you know, since y'all be speaking about the community, y'all got two guys that y'all both work with closely coming out of the community that's making a big name for themselves. One starting to get a national buzz, and the other one, he got a hell of a local buzz, but his national popularity is starting to come into play. Deric Davis and Nasheed Smith. How y'all feeling about they both of them journeys coming in right now, and what all the success they're starting to grow? Like I said with Scooter, he's starting to gain more national popularity, so his prospect stage is starting to come along. And then Nasheed, he has a hell of a local following, and he's starting to grow into national popularity.
Well, I think they both humble young men. They work hard. Don't do a lot of talking, and always been solid. Like, we had Nasheed since he was 9 years old.
Yeah, since a baby.
Yeah, since he, school, I think came over here when he was like 11 or 12. So we had both.
Yeah, since a kid, not a baby, but a kid.
But both good kids. They come from good families. And like Nasheed, I wouldn't, to be honest, I didn't, he was such a good kid. I didn't think he would be doing what he's doing now because, like I said, he's a heavy-set kid that
he showed his dad showed me pictures. He had a lot more. When you look at his body now, you'll be like, how the hell you get so trimmed down?
He wasn't as tall as he is. He just went into a growth spurt. But he was just, like I said, he was a round, heavy-set kid, cry all the time when he sparred, but he always tried,
never gave up.
Good kid, and grew into what he is now, and I didn't think he would become what he is now. I always seen that in Scooter though, you know what I'm saying? Scooter always had that swag. Like I said, another good kid, they was good, they went to school, graduated and everything, and both good kids, man. Just working with them throughout the years, just enjoyed traveling with them and stuff like that. And and they just stand on the right path. And I just, pray they stay on that path. And sky's the limit for both of them.
It's crazy. Nasheed, like Boog said, he was a little chubby little kid. His sister, Aisha, she was the one that I thought would be that dog.
Same here, man.
And Nasheed used to cry all the time. Now we call the lab called Nasheed No More Tears Smith.
Not Sugar Sheet. I'm gonna hold you to that shit.
Yeah,
no more Tears Smith. When I tag you on the gram or Twitter now, I'm not tagging you as Sugar Sheet. It's no more Tears Smith.
And he just caught fire one day, man. And I never forget. I had a conversation with him. He lost to this kid, nationally ranked kid, I believe Truck, for that kid, same kid.
Truck, that's Lorenzo Simpson for all y'all that don't know out of Baltimore.
Yeah.
Shout out Truck, you took a tough L, but you still, I like how you carrying yourself after you got your head up and you looking forward to your next match.
That's how I do, good dude. And Truck beat the dude, but the dude, was a rough fighter. Now she went in and I just didn't like his performance. You know what I mean? So when he came back, I grilled him. His father, and this can't happen anymore, kiddo. You feel me? When you start getting used to losing, and you come back with a lot of excuses, you show me anybody with a ton of excuses, I'm gonna show you losing. And our core, our base is not that. You feel me?
That's not a culture you want to set. Excuses, because like you said, that excuses, you set a culture where you always got an excuse to let you slide. Now you setting the table for a losing mindset.
And we work too hard. We ain't here all the time. Saturdays, Sundays, they at our homes working out, the whole nine. And so, looked him in his eyes and said what I said, and sure enough, he went back out there, gave to do all kinds of 8 counts, and won a national title. Then he won another one, you know what I mean? And then he made Olympic trials, the whole nine. So it took somebody to believe in him, and pull it out. feel me? You know, no pause.
I was about to see you got Barry got me because I was definitely about to get him. He is saying I was about to get him.
You understand?
I was about to get him. Barry hit me.
My
Barry said, dog, I know you little youngins with this pause stuff, so I ain't about to let him
For all
trick
you
you.
youngsters out there.
Y'all, hey, Barry just ruined our viral moment, y'all. We was gonna get him.
And so, you know, he turned his thing around, and so there's no surprise to me, you know, that Nasheed is really good. And you can set your clock by him coming in that door. This is every
Shit, when
day.
we pulled up here, he was the first person in here. Him
Every
and
day.
Coach Jamie. Coach Jamie cleaning Nasheed already stretching, getting ready.
Yeah.
I didn't have my water. And this is
Every day.
crazy you saying this because we only, 3 days removed from his last fight.
I watched him, we were in Colorado, and Tank, Isaac Dog Bay, Sean Porter, what's
We
the
was
kid?
in Vegas in the mountains.
Yeah.
Bro. I forgot the name of it.
Mount Charleston.
Yeah, that's what.
On a correctional facility site. That's where we was training at. It was like we started at like 92 to 9,500, put above sea level, we went to 10,000 above sea level. And what's the kid, Schofield?
Floyd Schofield,
He was there too.
get off.
Yeah, he was there. You know what I mean? And so we grinded. You know, it was crazy because it was warm down below and up top. Yo, it was cold. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we had on
absolutely.
ski coats, masks, all kinds of stuff, right? Jack Cougars, wild donkeys, all kinds of stuff was up there, wild horse, everything, right? And so I watched him, you know, during times where even Tank wanted to quit because it was hard. You know, and Nasheed talked that talk, come on, champ, I'm trying to be like you, blah, blah, blah.
Motivated.
And Tank looked down with a smile and said, let's get it. And took off, and they did their thing. So I always admired that about him, you know what I mean? And in Scooter's case, Scooter, when I first saw Scooter, he was a little kid, man, baby, pudgy face too. The thing I liked about him was his energy. You know what I mean?
Scooter
He had
full of
that
energy.
swag then, you know what I mean?
Yes.
He hopped around, the parents had him dressed real nice. And I was leaving, I had left. And his father called me outside and he said, man, what do you think about my son? I said, what your son? He told me. I said, I like him. I said, he got a lot of energy. I said, he just need to throw more punches. I said, you're gonna be okay. I said, you know, I don't know where you at, but if you ever need a place to go, you know, and it ain't working out where you at, come see me, look me up. And I stepped off. One Friday night, I was in the gym by myself. I'm never in the gym that way. You know what I mean? It just so happened, you know, some say just hold back a little bit. And I was listening to music. And the door opened up and the father came through. And sure enough, it had school with it. It was a little boy. And he said, man, look, you told me if I ever needed a place, come on through. He said, here we are, you know what I mean? And every star was aligned, you know. And then I got a phone call from Scooter when he was a little older. They gave me this heart-to-heart speech, man, and I had tears in my eyes, actually. And I didn't know what the hell happened. I asked first, they put him up and called. They said, nah, and it was all him. And I said, all right, for you, I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna stay the course. You know what I mean?
You was about to lay low.
I did everything. You feel me? I mean, I was done. You know what I mean? But they gave me a reason. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm still here. Them two boys.
Well, you know, boxing looking bright for the DC area. DC, you got Sugar Sheed and Scooter Davis. So, you know, but I gotta ask both of y'all, because y'all from the old school, man. Y'all like that good music, Temptation. Y'all rap era, Tupac, and all that from the 80s when New York was on the scene. How the hell do y'all deal with listening to all that NBA young boys, Scooter and them dudes, and Lil Durk, and Bass Swag, and all that?
I'm gonna tell you, keep it real with you. I like Lil Durk.
Yeah,
Man, I don't like what he's going through right now, and alhamdulillah, may whatever.
Shout out to Lil Durk.
Hopefully he makes it out that situation good, but I love this.
Yeah, Deric was one of the guys that walked us out at one of the fights, I believe, Tank.
He fought, I think it was Pitbull. I gotta ask you later on down there, and I'm gonna ask you a question about it, because you had a viral moment.
When you go back, right, to some of the fights, like Adrian started all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
With the rappers
Yeah,
coming out.
Adrian, that was his thing, right?
He liked to dance, you know,
And,
he got to
yeah,
dance.
he gonna dance out. Couldn't nobody come out like AB.
Nah.
You feel me? And I remember, what is it, Migos?
Yeah.
Well,
Before they
Yeah.
really exploded the way they did, they were one of the ones that was there as well. You know what I mean? So we had a chance to meet a lot of them dudes, man, earlier on.
That's how you got familiar with their music.
And
Shout out to Adrian, and man. And I think his birthday just passed. Happy belated.
Happy belated birthday. He used to live with Boogie.
Yes, sir. Hey, that's crazy. You know, we're going to talk about AB a little bit after y'all break the music, because a lot of people don't know y'all connection with Adrian Broner. So we definitely going to talk about Adrian Broner.
We ghostwriters. You'd be surprised who we be behind the scenes working
y'all, that's
working.
why, hey, just stay tuned. If you watch, just keep watching. We're going to Boog and Coach Barry about to tell y'all a lot of secrets of people they was with or people whose game plans they didn't help. But yeah, man, you know, I gotta ask y'all too before we get into Adrian. Adrian's actually, you know what, y'all looked at some questions. I showed y'all some questions because how y'all brought up Adrian.
No.
Oh, okay. So anyways, you barely have a reputation of being a straightforward shooter. You just talked about it with Nasheed, where you pulled him to the side and said, hey, we gonna cut, you pulled him and his pop to the side and said, we gonna cut this shit out. We ain't gonna start the excuses because that makes it a level, that makes a losing mentality for a dark. Where does that come from? Like, why do you feel like that's the proper approach to be with? Because we done seen it with you with Tank, we done seen it with you and a lot of other fighters that you done worked with. You straightforward shooter. You could be the cool, laid back old head when it's time. But when it's time to handle business, like when the promotion companies call and say, hey, we need you to sign this dotted line, it's fight time, you get in the straight shooter mode. Why do you feel like that's the proper?
Well, Boogie been behind the door. He's been with me, from the business end, capers or whatever we had to do. You feel me? And then, my two biggest heroes are females. My mother and Harriet Tubman. And both of them were soldiers, you know what I mean? My mom was, that's how I made it through the project. My mother, my sister, you know what I mean? And I always looked at them and I never seen them bow down to no man, right? So I took on that mentality, which is crazy, because normally it's your father teaching you how to be a man, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
My mom was rougher than any man.
That's how my aunt Desiree and my aunt Barbara.
Yeah, so you can identify, right?
Because my mom, who I never really was told, this is the first time I'm saying this, my mom, me and my pops was close. My mom is somebody that meant a lot to me in life, and I like me and her clash heads. It's because we got the same personality. We got that, I'm not going to ask them to go out there and work my ass off for it. And I had to struggle for what I got, and now I got it, I'm going to keep working.
So you understand what I'm talking about?
Exactly.
So shout out to all the black mothers out there,
absolutely.
man, for keeping us ground and keeping us safe, you know what I mean? But, it was that, and then I ended up finally, when I hit my late teens, I met a man named Mr. Horace Green. You know what I mean? I got to give him a call, too. He was the first real man that I ever met. You know what I mean? Vietnam vet, you know what I mean? Athlete, he was everything. He was a soldier. And he was the first person in my life that told me it's okay to make a mistake. You feel me? He said, all right. He said, you weren't born knowing this. You feel me? So it's okay to make a mistake. And when he said that, it took a weight off my back. You know what I mean? As to why I ended up doing what I did with these kids, because he was the same way with me. So took me to my first college basketball game, social events. You know
Which college basketball game was that?
UDC, UDC versus Cheney State.
Okay.
Michael T. Berg, Britt, Earl Jones, they did their thing that night. You feel me? And I didn't know nothing about none of that, man. This cat showed me everything. I learned about jazz, Sarah Bond, people like that there. And then I started learning about history. Not history, but our history. You feel me? The optics, the Sphinx, just everything, man. You know what I mean? And so, shout out to Mr. Al Dwayne, we call him Horse too, and I thank him. I'm sitting here because of him too.
So Bug, let's add a little bit about Bug, man. You made appearances in Creed, man. How that come about?
Like I said, I'm posting videos.
We call him Mr. Bug or the Mix, viral Mix.
And, people DM me all the time, I get a whole lot of DMs, so it was one that I had, I just looked at, and it was just like, man, they reached out and said they doing a project up in, like, near outside Philly or whatever.
Yeah,
and they needed my help, but they didn't know what told me what it was, so I was, I just kind of like downplayed it, because I just thought it was just somebody just, can you give me some tips on how to hold a miss? Can you give me a plan or whatever? It's like this, could you work with me and stuff like that? So it was just a whole lot of that, man, coming to my DM. So anyway, this one person just kept, I kept seeing the same DM. I said, oh, let me see what this, you know. So the guy was like, I responded to him. I was like, he was like, can you please just leave me your contact? Because I'm trying to ask him, with the project, what is it about? And he just wouldn't, he wouldn't really say what it's about. He said, can you just give me your contact info? So I said, all right, it might be for some kids.
He said, let me check it out.
So I left him my contact, called me. So called me off the break. And said his name was, he was producer, he was one of the producers. And he was just asking me, was I familiar with Michael Jordan? I said, yeah, I know what he is, Black Panther, all that, Fruitville Station. Like, yeah, I know what it is. He was like, well, you want to know what you'd be interested in coming up and working with him, doing the box and stuff, like, damn, hold up, this can't be real. So he was like, we can say, email and all that, and they say, you're gonna have other numbers calling you, probably be some crazy numbers, so, just answer the phone, right. So anyway, make a long story short, they reached out to me and I, sent me a letterhead of the whole Free project and all that. I was like, oh wow. And from there I was just like, damn, I ended up going up there meeting them. And it was cool, man. You know what I'm saying? Like he was down to earth, a good guy, We worked, went through the Free 2 thing. During the pandemic, he called me, he reached out to me, called me. I didn't know who it was. He told me who it was. He was like, what's up, my guy? How you been? I told him, good, man. Just trying, we was in quarantine, during the COVID thing. Right. And he was just like, man, doing Creed 3. He was just like, man, I want you to be a part of it. He said, because, it was, special to me because I'm directing. So, I was like, man, say less, man. I'm down. And from there, boom, I was back up, back on set again. That was cool. It was a blessing. I was surprised they called me back. Once you do them, you do all that stuff with them actors and stuff like that. They, like I said on set, they super cool. You just like after it's over with, it's gone. Everybody gone back to what they do. It ain't like we staying in contact or anything like that. And yeah, showing up, he hit me again for 3. Man, I said, damn. Hit 3, I met the Mid-Queen. We both worked with them together. Oh, did the movie, had fun doing it. Man.
Gotcha. So where your passion come? Because like I said, you got viral clips of Richardson Hitchens, Troy Osley, Tank, of course, Franchon Cruz, Scooter Davis, Nasheed. You got clips with them, all that pad. Where your love to getting them combos down on that?
Came from this guy right here. You know what I'm saying? Because he was like the first guy I ever seen. People, Roger Mayweather. I see him do his thing. But man, honestly, Barry was the first person I seen ever hold mitts like you fight.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because like when I like Cunningham was on.
Still boxing.
Yeah, I think he was still fighting at the time. And I, like I said, I used to hold mitts, but Coach Cunningham and it wasn't they give you the basics. They 2, 1.
That's
they 1. That was it. When Barry came and started working with us, man, it's like we doing ups, body head, we rolling, and I'm like, damn.
You gotta get some of those.
Yeah, I know. We definitely got to find them.
I got to see some.
I was just like, damn. I was like, he had us. He holding mitts like how we fight. He got his guards up, bouncing with us, and you know what I'm saying, like jab, bow. You know what I'm saying, we're jabbing and just like you fight. You know what I'm saying. I was, it was cool, but I couldn't. At the time, still fighting. So I mean, people caught, how he was doing it. He was the same way. Like they was like, man, can you hold mitts for me? Same thing with him. You know what I'm saying? And I watched it over the years. So once I became a coach. And he was still doing it, but he wasn't doing it as much. And I started learning, you know what I'm saying? And
I had him hold it.
yeah, it's for Mark Johnson. And when I tell you, I was scared to death. I didn't know what to do because I'm so used to working with the kids all the time. And this Mark ready to fight for a world title, where he was world champion, and he was defending it against the kid up in Memphis.
Choco.
Hernandez. Yeah, and he was training with us for that fight, so I was like, boy, I need you to come in and hold a miss for Mark. And I was so annoyed. I was like, I ain't never worked with no pro, you know, because I don't think Lamont was about to make their pro debut. They wasn't even pro yet. They made their debut on that card. So I'm like, damn, so I'm trying to kill time. I was like, Boog, come on, let's go.
I say, let's go, son.
Like,
go get the miss. You gonna work with Mark today.
I'm like, work with Mark.
Yeah,
He said work with Mark.
He kept saying it, right? That's what was funny to me. He kept saying that.
So I was.
You want me to work with Mark? Yeah, man, go get the mitts. You gonna work with Mark.
Yeah.
I broke it down. Go get the mitts.
You're
gonna work with Mark.
I said, okay. Then I'm moving slow, going to get the mitts. Like,
and I told him pretty much the same thing Mr. Al Green told me. Well, trip is I didn't make a mistake.
That's true.
Let's go try it.
That's true. You're gonna make a mistake and like you're born knowing how to do this. You set that line right there. That's the line I'm about to take now. Man. That line to teach my sons. You're gonna make a mistake. You're gonna born to like knowing how to do this.
And I work with them.
If you think, not to cut you off, but if you think about it, you know, it make all sense of the world, because doubt is the enemy to success, you feel me? And it ain't that you can't do it, you know what I mean? It's like you playing that football, you know what I mean? It ain't that you can't do it, you don't know how. Number one. Number two, scared to try. You know what I mean? Because people put so much emphasis on you failing, you know what I mean? So you know what I mean? Success, not even on your mind. You know what I mean? You keep thinking about I'm gonna fail. You know what I mean? So don't worry about that. All of y'all out there, I don't care what it is, whatever venture you got going on, whether you want, just try it.
Try it. Even if you fail, right. Because that failure, you're gonna learn from what you did wrong.
100%. If you don't try, you lose.
Because you don't know what you could have done right, and you could have done it right the whole time, but you ain't even tried. Absolutely.
But go ahead, bro.
And from that, you know, time working with Mark, you know, I ended up finishing it out. And I was kind of like happy. I was kind of like sized up. I'm like, damn, I work with Mark. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, boosts my confidence up a little bit. I said, and I just say to myself, damn, I ain't gonna never do that no more. You know, I'm gonna just keep working on it, keep doing what I do. And I was working with the kids, working with Ant and Runt, you know, different guys in the gym. And I was getting it down, you know what I'm saying? And it so much so, like, he don't even have to hit me. If he sit right here and I'm holding this for you, he could call something, I'd just run it. Like, without, you know, not saying like this, like that. I'm like, okay, bop. He said, then roll him that way, bro. Wah, you know. And that got me, you know, to the point where I can just work with anybody. Like, you know, and I work with them like I've been working. Like, I can work with you today. And it's like we've been working.
We're gonna work today.
Yeah. And it's like we've been working. It's like we've been working forever, you know. And I just got that, you know. And it just now to come natural to me. Like, I can work with anybody without thinking about anything, you know. Not feeling no type of way. And I try not to change what they've been doing. I just kind of add to it, just go along with the flow.
Some different combinations.
Yeah, that's all. Add to it. You know, that's what we do with a lot of fighters that come train with us. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's a Tank or Adrian Broner or anybody, like whatever they've been doing, we just add to it. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't change your style up or try to change your fighting style. All we do is add to it. You know what I'm saying? And put a little something on it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I mean, you know, other than that, it's just like working miss is just, I don't know. I can do that in my sleep, you know. But
don't worry, like I said, y'all gonna see me and Boog on the mix. Check it out. What's gonna be on there, man. But man, since y'all brought them up, man, y'all done worked with a lot of interesting fighters.
Yeah.
None bigger, and I think to me, honestly, the biggest what if in boxing in my generation. I'm 35. Well, I think he's a year older. I think y'all know what I'm doing. Adrian Broner, all about billions. You know, how did that relationship come about? Because Adrian Broner, he's from Cincinnati, Queen City, out in Ohio. And how did that relationship come about with y'all two working together?
Mike Stafford and myself, God rest his soul.
Coach Mike.
Me and Mike grew up coaches. pretty much together. We've been roommates on the U.S. team. We were on the U.S. team for years. So we work with a lot of fighters that you see on TV now. And from the past, Adrian was, so I knew Adrian. I met Adrian. Adrian was on 10-2. Him, Rashid Warren, Cincinnati, Ricardo Williams, Ron Silent, Dante Craig. Yeah, he was going early in the class with Ricardo, but he knew he was young. Yeah. And so Adrian had a situation one time. Something happened down in Cincinnati. Mike called me. And look, man, I want to send out here.
Give him away from his round, man.
So I said, come on, send him, I got him. So he sent him. We ended up moving him in the quick.
So he was living with you?
Yeah, he stayed with us. We had a little guest room.
So I was taking care of, what I needed to take care of. He took care of, the house. And when he came, what people don't know about Adrian used to work so hard, man. I watched him a couple times almost pass out because, the other side didn't have no head. You know what I mean? And on a day like today, he'd be working, and I got to shut him down. Nobody knew who he was. He didn't have no name. He didn't have Timberland, big jeans, and, things of this nature. I don't have mine on. And so we would train him. He'd go back to Cincinnati maybe Thursday. He would fight Saturday. And he'd be back here Monday or Tuesday. It just went on for a while. And then when we got to, I think it was Lilo Parade, I want to say. If you look on YouTube, Adrian Broner, the number 2, Davis, it'll come up. And that was the beginning of his ascension. He started to ascend from there, And the rest is history. Adrian,
man, like I said,
that's
why I said, to me, that's in my generation of boxing, that's the biggest what is.
Yeah.
Because if AB had just stayed focused and AB had just went along with the plan that the coach and the promoter had, I think he could have been one of the best of his generation.
Ain't no question. He was explosive, talented, athletic. I remember one time we go up in Colorado. We was trained at the Olympic Training Center. We was working with the Olympians at the time, and we brought all the pros up there. Myself, Freddie Roach, Mike Stafford, Kenny Porter. There was a few of us, So we had hitters up there trying to get them to the gold medal. And Adrian, he'd be down there with the gymnast sometime, being 80. He was flipping, doing backflips and stunts and tumbling, just like they was, right? So he was just a hell of an athlete. And if you know him, right? I'm not talking about the APR, no billions, all that garbage. But if you know him, good dude. I got crazy love for him, man.
You hear a lot of good stories, like Richardson Hitchens just did it before his fight with Cambosis. He talked about all the stuff Adrian Broner did for him. He was coming up trying to get, and he was going through, like he said, he didn't have to worry about nothing. He treated him like he was his little brother.
Ain't no question. You mean?
You hear Tank stories from how he talked about it.
Tank was young, and Tank, mind you, at one point in time, it was so many just stars in here at one time, And so if HBO came maybe for Austin Trout, they ended up seeing running to Showtime for Adrian, or somebody over here, ESPN, Robert Easter, it was all Carlos Adames, he was in there too. So all of them, when you look at that picture over there, you see all of them on there. Just before the riches, the money, that was the grind, And then, Adrian was so, so cool. There'd be times when we come in here, we'd see a big tour bus outside the parking lot. He on tour with Lil Wayne and them rapping. But he come back and get his kids both 50, 60 tickets, go to the concerts. So that's who he is. And as far as we're concerned, he's 100-0 with a 98% knockout ratio.
Yeah. He won that fight. That was my favorite moment with AD. Even though they had a tag, but that was my favorite moment. My man said, I won that fight. It's like his personality showed in there, and I'm like, man, I love him, man. But I gotta ask y'all a serious question regarding AB. Where do y'all feel like it all started going wrong for AB? I think me and you, Coach Barry, we talked about it like the second time we met. You was like, when it went from AB about boxing to AB about building.
You know, that alter ego kicked in, you know what I mean? Had he stayed on his path, ain't no doubt about it, he would have been, you know, just through the stratosphere, you know what I mean? And because he was just that talented.
Yeah, that's what I say. When you look at the speed, feet work, the strength.
Power, everything.
Yeah, it was like he had the personality to be bigger star than just boxing. So he could have kept his life going after
But
boxing.
he had a crazy motor. His energy was crazy, you know what I mean? And it had to be developed over a period of time, but you know, somewhere along the line, like I said, it stopped being about boxing. And it became about
Do you
billions.
think that came about from the people around him or new people he let around him? And you Boog, because you live with you.
Man, I just think, you know, like I said, that fame really got to him.
It's like a drug.
Yeah, because when you start, you know, you stop listening. You feel like you know it all.
I feel like you made it
Move the
move
way you want to move, you know. And you know, like I said, I just think it got wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because it just hanging, you know, I just think he should have just stayed on the path he was in the beginning.
I hope he's going to talk about that.
You know, but
That's what you know, life will humble you. Once you go off track, life will find a way to humble you.
yeah. You know, you can't.
You think you bigger than the program will find a way to humble you.
Yeah.
Adrian was winning everything.
Yeah, he was.
And he left. And it's crazy because it's like a pattern. He left. So I got a phone call after Madonna phone. He came back.
Yeah.
Came in the gym one day, he was sitting on the end of the ring, over here. Wasn't nobody in here. What's doing up here? He said, I want you and Boog to come on back with me. You know what I mean? Started grinding again. Went on West Street again, right? He left again. And
That's what they
he
say.
lost to Sean Porter.
Yep.
Yeah, because he went up Mayweather gym. That's where he was up in Vegas, hanging in Mayweather gym.
But see, I ain't know where he was.
Yeah.
I mean, I just know.
I don't know if he was trained up there or
Yeah.
not. I know he was up in Vegas, but I know he was at that gym because I think that's when he hooked Tank up with Mayweather.
Yeah, I'm about to
Tank
say
was up
this,
there with him. Tank had came up.
Was Tank with him
Spar.
before Sean Porter?
Yeah, because I think that's when they said, that's when the
him and
release
Haney,
and
him and Haney
everybody said that
sparred.
Haney and Tank.
Yeah, that's what I think they had sparred at the time. So
Well,
that was for that fight. I think he was up there.
When he ended up coming back, I was in Florida. I think we were fighting or something. I got a phone call. I wanted to come back to the gym, blah, blah, blah. So he came back again. We went on another one street, won another world title.
Yeah, he beat the Russian guy down Cincinnati.
Yeah, when we flew
won
through
the
that
title.
storm that time.
Yeah.
And then after that, you know,
Fought again.
gone
Fight again up
again.
here.
We beat, who was it? Dead Pain. Somebody
for
beat.
Dead Pain is like up here.
Yeah,
For him.
and that was it.
Yeah.
AB, to me, that's why I always say that's the biggest what if. Maybe he might be in the top what if, not just boxing, but sports. Because it's like we all just said, if he stayed in track, stayed home where he knew people that knew him the best, personality-wise, outside of boxing, and people that he could actually let humble him if they talk to him a certain way. He wouldn't get no back talk. I think AB could have probably went on to, like you see him and Terrence Crawford, the same generation for fighters. You see what Bud doing right now. I think AB would be right there.
Bud, being Bud, you know,
He stayed the
Adrian
course.
would have just kept his own identity, you know what I'm saying, and stayed doing what he was doing. He was good, you know. They started paying him to Mayweather.
They started feeling his head.
This, you know, I think that kind of threw him off too.
He started wanting to live up to what
Yeah,
the media and
moving
everybody
up,
was saying.
different weight classes.
That he shouldn't have. That's what I said. Man, you just took the words out of my mouth, but every time I think about it, I'm like, why did you do that?
But he definitely could have, you know, I mean, you know, this got that guy, you know, had he stayed, you know, stayed on his path.
We got some of that stuff on, you know, when he was grinding, when he was young.
Yeah, I got to see
He's
some
doing
of
his
this.
thing.
Yeah. So let's switch it off, man. We got to talk. I know you got a relationship with one of AP's old promoters, original, not Mr. John King. I say he's one of my favorite promoters. No disrespect to Bob, he's my guy, Bob. When I first met Bob down at the Keyshawn fight, I thought I'm nervous, like you was nervous.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I don't think Bob gonna give me this little interview. Derek, man, Derek, his assistant, come. He said, man, get in there, man. He said, man, Derek, go like this. I said, go in there. He's like, Bob, a nice guy. I said, he stopped Bob. He said, he want to do an interview with you, Bob, for 5 minutes. I'm like, shit. He's like, come have a seat. I'm like, oh, shit, Bob actually giving me this interview, man. I said, it put a smile on my face. I actually had text my mom after that. I said, yo, Mom, Bob Aaron gave me an interview. She just liked the message, like, there you go. But one of my guys, man, Al Heyman, we got a relationship with Al Heyman that dates back to when.
Bad man,
The man behind the camera, we call him that. He used to smile in front of the camera, but after a while, Al went to, he's a ghost, as they call him. Dante Wilder called him the ghost. You don't see him, but you hear him.
This was in the early 2000s, shortly after we turned pro.
Okay.
Now, mind you, of course, you're from DC. If you know anything about DC and Frankie Deli and me, blah, blah, Rick James, Prince, Al.
Did all of it.
Yes.
He did with all. That's what a lot of people don't know about Al. They just go off because you got Twitter now. People try to. Well, now honestly, I've yet to hear only one person. I'm not gonna give him any attention, but only one person I've seen talk bad about Al. And I've heard different stories that they used to be best friends, and that's why now he be on Twitter talking bad about him. I think y'all got an idea what I'm talking about. But I've never heard no famous person, musician or fighter, that's done business with him talk bad about him. They always say, he's a man of his word. If he tell you he's gonna do something, and that's other podcasters I heard too. They like, they meet Al. He not gonna do nothing on camera, but if he tell you behind closed doors that this is what I'm gonna do, trust and believe within the next week or so it's gonna be done.
He so here, like I say, speaking of those concerts, they had this thing. It's an Al Heyman production, you know what I mean? And that used to always ring in my ear, you know what I mean? And so when I got really heavy into this boxing, when we started going up the ladder, I got a phone call one day. It was the man himself, you feel me?
Mr. Heyman, the ghost.
Yeah.
You got a call from the ghost. Did you get spooked?
And the first thing that I said, wow. I said, Al Heyman. I done heard from Bruce Willis, Don King, just everybody, right?
About Al.
No, I mean, throughout,
Oh, you talking about people you didn't talk to? Okay.
I mean, legendary people, Angelina Jolie's father, you know what I mean? But Al Heyman, when I talked to him, I said, wow. I said, Al Heyman, you know what I mean? I said, I finally got a voice with the name, man. I said, I'm a fan. They said, I'm a fan of you and the boys, man, and it went from there, you know what I mean? And once we ended up doing the PBC thing, you feel me? And mind you, I was sworn to secrecy. You know what I mean?
You didn't know. You ain't know we got somebody right here with PBC on.
Yeah, I was sworn to secrecy. I didn't even tell Boog. I'm sleeping next to my wife. I ain't tell her nothing. You know what I mean? And finally, when it was launched, I called Boog. It was in New York, suited and I said, yo, man, cut the internet off. You ready to drop the bombshell, you feel me?
Yep.
BBC.
That's when we started. They had Al Michaels as the commentator.
Voice.
Yeah.
Voice so loud.
It was crazy.
Al, that's crazy.
Then you seen all them with suits. You seen, I think you seen Lamont,
Danny Garcia,
Adrian, Danny Garcia.
Robert.
They had Ray. Then I think
Ray Hurst, Durant.
They had all the legends up there.
Al know how to pull them strings. One thing you can't say is Al don't know how to make an event. We know how to make an event. And like you said, that comes from back in his days on the music.
Yeah. And then when you get advice, so I took that whole same persona on. You mean, everything ain't for everybody. You know what I mean? And the conversation that the man used to have with me, I couldn't share with nobody because I had to kill you afterwards. But nevertheless, that's my guy, man. Ain't no question about it. You know what I mean? Shout out to Al, man.
Shout out Al, man. Hopefully one day, Al, I get big enough to meet you. That's one. You know how we all got a checklist in life. That's one of my checklists to meet Al Heyman and be able to just shake his hand and tell him, Al, I always liked how I like his style. You don't see him, but you damn sure hear him.
And let me say this about him too. The circle is real small, but if you should happen to be in that circle, you feel me? Al always a stand-up guy. And you look
That's what I said. Everybody
that
always tell me that. I've seen thousands of interviews people talk about it. I never heard nothing bad about him except for one guy, and that's the guy that I'm not going to say his name, but that's the only guy. Everybody else It's always good things. That man keeps his word. He does it, handles business. If he tells you something goes wrong and then you try to cut, reaches right out and he's like, hold up, what's going on? And he fixes it.
Yeah, that's it.
So when I gotta ask you though, because where would you rank Al amongst promoters? If you gotta take out your favoritism, where would you rank him, both of y'all, as far as promoters and what he's done? Building PBC and how he's built fighters in the superstar.
Is he a promoter?
He's a promoter with PBC, but he's an advisor to a lot of people. I know the only people he really promote, I know now, because I know he's had health issues and some family issues. It's Tank, Charlos, Canelo's with Turkey out of sheep now, I think. But Canelo, when he was just with him, it's only like the original ones that we've seen from that little Adrian Broner era that still fighting. Those guys with everybody else there.
Let me say this: I dealt with a lot of promoters,
Right.
you know, in my career, a lot of them, you know, and out of all the promoters that I dealt with, I had relationships with all of them, but out of all the ones I dealt with, Al and Bob were my two favorites.
I can't forget about Don King, because he had
Don
King. That when I got in the boxing,
Don was the
when
first.
I got in the boxing, he was that's all I heard. You know, that's all I watched. When he had Julian Jackson. No, that's after that. He had like Mike Tyson and Razor Ruddock. All the dudes was fighting, and Julian Jackson. You had Terry Knowles. You know,
pound for pound, if you go back,
Don King was doing it.
He
man.
was like the first of his kind, man. You know, and because you got to go back with him, with Ray Leonard, what he pulled off over in Africa, stuff like that. That just don't happen.
You know, I never knew he did all that stuff.
Rumble in the jungle.
Yeah. Come on, man. So you got to give him his props.
Yeah.
But like I said, I had a good relationship with. I never really burnt the bridge for the most part.
That's what you done. You don't want, listen, there's a saying, you don't want to step on the toes that's next to the leg of the ass. You might have to kiss later
But
on.
my two favorite ones, the two promoters that were in the trenches with me, that, you know, even when things went, you know, didn't go as they were planned, even when it got legal, whatever, those were the two, you know, that battled with me and for me.
All right, man. Well, recently y'all worked with one of Al's top guys. One of, like you just said, the few guys that's left with Al. Now, you know, y'all got a relationship dating back to when this kid, his name, I don't think I got to say his name, but we're going to say it. Gervonta Tank Davis, one of the faces of boxing. You could say he's arguably the face of African-American boxing. You know, there's a lot of heat that came y'all way, unnecessarily heat from working with him, man. You know, this is addressing the elephant in the room. So we're going to go ahead and address the elephant in the room. I done sat there and interviewed Scooter, shout out Mr. Sharks. He addressed it from his perspective. I done talked to Coach Kenny, shout out, that's my guy, Coach Kenny Ellis. He even addressed it. But there's none better than to be able to have Barry Hunter and Patrice Boog on the mid's hairs right here. Go ahead and address the elephant in the room, clear up anything, because you know there's a lot of stuff. Oh, Tank fired Calvin and Kenny. Oh, Calvin and Kenny beefing with Boog and Barry, and they beefing with Tank. That's why he went on down to DC, the headbangers. He ain't messing with Upton no more. Well, you know, y'all have seen all the comments, heard everything. So I need y'all to address the elephant in the room from the horse's mouth.
We don't give a shit.
They don't give a shit.
Yeah, man. Understand that. You see that picture right there?
The picture right there, y'all can see it.
You can see him from here in that picture.
Absolutely. The lightest person in that picture. No
That's
offense,
right.
Tank.
You know what I mean? And so here's the deal. And they addressed it, we addressed it when we got to New York. You know what I mean? And if what I was saying wasn't true, they would have said something about it. Is that correct?
Absolutely. One thing about Kenny, he don't bite his tongue. Coach Kenny just say, nah, that's bullshit.
We heard everything. We were sitting in, a lot of time we been here training. Honest goodness truth. You remember that day we were sitting right here? People talking about he's somewhere else. I forgot what the hell he said he was training at. Calvin ain't involved no more. I brainwashed him and all that. Not understanding that he been in since he was a kid. The baby, he won an ounce. In fact, he just said something about me recently.
And he posted before he deleted his page. We're going to talk about that in a couple of questions, but before he deleted his page,
This is not.
he had posted a picture. He posted Calvin. He's like, this is the heat man with his family. And this is my pops. This is the one that was with my grandma when I was just me and my brother. And then he posted a picture of you talking about, they telling me to turn on y'all. I could never turn on y'all. Headbangers for life.
There you go. You feel me? Do I really need to say anything?
Nah, but you know, I
see
just
what I'm
wanted
saying?
you to
But-
say it because it feels good when the two guys that were getting attacked the most get to clear the air. So when shit gets
Calvin, when Calvin first came through, right? The thing that I always liked about him is the fact that he was in the streets just like me, right? And anybody to give the most valuable thing that one has to give is time.
Because you can't get that back. You can get money back, you can get cars, clothes, houses, you can get women, you can get all that back, but you can't get time that you give.
There you go, and you know I spoke earlier about doing something for somebody, you know what I mean? Not benefiting yourself. He took a whole bunch of youngsters, you know, out of that block, and he did his thing with it. And that's why I would always aid him, you know, when he came through. As far as Tank concerned, Cal moved Tank to the gym when he was about 8 or 9 years old, you feel me? And he pretty much been here ever since. We never treated him different than one of the boys. We rolled like one of the boys. Times when you didn't even see us there. Boogie and myself, I was still writing a fight plan, you understand? You feel me? So there was nothing new about what it was.
It was just new.
They didn't know.
Yeah, they didn't know.
We don't do no whole lot of talking, you know what I mean? But the bottom line is, Tank one as a family. I don't care nothing about this boxing stuff. Right now, in fact, to be honest with you, I want to make sure he's all right.
I was just about to ask you about that.
I don't care about this boxing stuff. See, when people, if you got people trying to just rush him into it, Tank is looked at as a commodity.
Not a person.
Not a person. You know, and if you listen to what the man is saying, right? I heard some of the things he's saying about how he want to work on himself, right? About how I don't care about boxing, y'all can have, blah, 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 blah. That's him crying out saying, man, you know, some other stuff. There you go. You feel me? So, listen, man, if he pick a glove up today or tomorrow, or don't ever pick another glove up, you feel me? That's our chap. And we love him, and I'm going to ride with him, whatever his decision. But if he get back in the ring, or when he get back in the ring, shall I say, if that's what he wants to do, you feel me? As long as he's mentally all right, physically all right, I'm cool with it.
You know, I was about to ask you something. You know, unfortunately, he's going through some stuff right now. You know, and do y'all have any words of advice? Because like y'all both said, that's y'all child. That's some of y'all look at as a son and nephew. What's any advice you have for him while you going?
He already know we're going to ride with him to the end, come hell or high water. So we still here. If you need us, you know where to get us. You know what I mean? You know, and it's okay to be not okay sometimes. You feel me? The problem is you got a lot of people not okay trying to walk around like they are okay. You feel me? So we got to address the elephant in the room, right? So you know what I mean? You got to turn around and make sure that he is all right. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, once the crowd go home and they stop cheering, he's still going to be tanked. That's right.
It's still going to be Gervonta.
There you go. There you go.
What about you, Coach?
See, man, his thing is, you gotta understand where he at. You know, what you call it, the face of boxing, one of the face of boxing. And, you know, with that comes a lot of responsibility, you know. I mean, it's stuff that we don't know, that people don't know that he deals with outside of boxing. Family, where, you know, it's a lot, you know what I'm saying, that comes, you know, and it plays a lot on your mental, you know what I'm saying?
And let me say this too, man, because I'm starting to get mad a little bit, right? Yeah, think about it. You know what I mean?
Before Coach Barry got a reflex, you think he's 20 and 5, he would have won too.
You know, I hear, you know, I've heard, you know, even people in our families and people that we know, you know, people around the streets, and they talk real crazy, right? And in this case, you know, like the weight of the world, this little dude, it's like the weight of the world on his shoulders. Sometimes when he used to come into the gym, you know, he come, you know, you could tell something wrong with him, but once we get going, that's when the smile and the laughter, you know, he's in the comfort zone, and we have a good time at the end of the day, man. But they never give this man credit, you know, for what he's done in boxing. Number one, they never gave me credit for the fight that we had in New York, right? You think about that fight, it was a DC takeover for this, you feel me? Nobody fights on that card if he don't say it's not ain't to fight on that card. You understand? Even the fight down in DC, same thing. So I think Now, some of the wounds that he had are self-inflicted.
Right.
You know, I can't get away from that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Be some stuff we bring on ourselves.
Yes.
Decisions, people we choose to deal with, situations we put ourselves in.
Yes, and you have to keep it 100, right? But on the flip side of that, you got to give this man credit for what he's done. You know what I mean? And so if you're gonna bash him on one end, then uphold him on another.
Before we get off Tank, man, you know, you had a viral clip I seen on TikTok a little while ago, right? When y'all was in this corner for the Pitbull Cruise fight, and you as anybody know, Tank fought that fight with a left hand, like fracture or something. And I remember Calvin was trying to talk calm to him. I said, he was like, I know what's going on with you. You stepped in and said, hey, Calvin, I don't mean to cut you. Hey, quit with all that soft ass shit, man. We can get that shit fixed tomorrow. Today we gotta win this damn fight, and you not winning right now.
That's
what
right.
was going through your mind when you said that?
Yeah, just being genuine, just being me. You feel me? I don't, you know, when I'm at the fights, and Boogie will tell you this, I never get too high or too low for the most part. It is what it is, and I don't pay attention to the crowd or people saying whatever they say. Right now, I'm locked in on him and the opponent, right? And we knew going into that fight that he was hurt going into the fight. I mean, but hell, we here now. You know what I mean? If it was a thing, if it was really a thing, we could have pulled out or should have pulled out. Now that's going on, what the hell you want me to do? We ain't doing no quit, son. You feel me?
We just talked about that. We don't make excuses.
There you go. And the thing is, he's so multifaceted, right? He can box, he can bang, fast, strong, explosive, the whole nine. Okay, so if you hurt, if that hand is hurt, then box the hell out of him, make him use his feet.
Yeah, I seen you. You said it in the video. You was like, use your legs.
Yeah, you can do that, bro. You know what I mean? Take it back to the amateurs, right? And that's what we did. Pulled it up.
Yeah, you definitely did. That was a hell of a fight. He showed he could box.
Now,
I
do think, no, he don't, because let's be honest.
He knocks a lot of people out.
He knocked a lot of people out. So at some point, and for the most part, he doing the stalking. He's not being stalked. You know what I mean? Lamont Roach stalked him.
Yeah.
You feel me? But other than that, all the way up to that point, he was the one, you know, doing the stalking. Pitbull stalked, right? And in that case, you know, once he started to box, you know what I mean? And again, that's one hand. And people say, well, he should have knocked the dude out. What did Pitbull do after to everybody else, for the most part, after that Tank fight? If he was that easy, everybody should have whooped his ass.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Seen the only one that did was Ryle. Ryle didn't whoop his ass, he just outboxed him. And then we seen what happened when Ryle turned around and fought another guy that like
How did Ryle beat?
Pitbull?
Yes.
He was outboxing, using his legs like he was telling Tank to. Ryle was bobbing him, using his legs. It almost looked like an amateur style fight because he wasn't, but not necessarily because Ryle was still being more active than anybody else.
Somebody paid attention.
And absolutely. He used his legs and was boxing and made Pitbull do what he cannot do. No disrespect to Pitbull, but that's not your strength as a boxer. So yeah, man, that's great. We get on that, man. Let's have a little boxing talk before we get out of here, man. We get a little boxing talk, man. What's y'all's feelings, both of y'all? Cause y'all come from, y'all seen the golden era, y'all seen the 90s, and y'all seen the 14s era. What's y'all current thoughts on the current state of boxing right now? Like, what's y'all thoughts on how boxing is right now?
Yes.
I don't like it.
Yeah, it's different.
Because it's
right
based
now.
on views and likes.
And it's based on O's.
And based on O's. And based on how many followers you have. You feel me?
You ain't the A side if you ain't got a million followers.
You walk in the gym now, they ain't really even tripping off your talent as much as they tripping off how many people follow.
Oh shit, he got over 50,000 followers on Twitter. Oh shit, he got 1 million followers on Instagram. Yep,
There you go.
Oh shit, he got a knockout that went viral on TikTok. Yeah, that's all they care about. Damn sure right about that.
Yeah.
My thought is the same thing as yours. But I think people, as much as I love Floyd, if you ask me who's Floyd Mayweather, he's on my Mount Rushmore. He's not, but I say Floyd, as great as he is, he gone undefeated, and undefeated in that emphasis he put on that undefeated, it hurt boxing on what it is today. Because one, you got these kids that they just want to catch Floyd. Everybody want to be undefeated. And two, I feel like some of the promoters, I don't know, the fact this is just my personal feeling, use that O to keep certain fights from happening. You know, if you lose that O, I ain't gonna be able to get you this fight down the line, or I'm gonna have to put you on
But
the
that's why it's different, because didn't Hagler lose some of his earlier
That's
fights?
why I asked you about the Four Kings era, because all of them fought each other.
Yes,
They all lost.
Is Hagler Hall of Fame?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did
Probably the greatest
Hurst
middleweight.
lose to Hagler and Ray Leonard first time?
Yep.
Hall
Ray
of
Leonard
Famer,
lost
right?
to Duran the first time.
Ray Leonard lost to Duran, Hall of Famer, right? Roberto Duran, Hall of Famer, right? Ray Robinson lost, Hall of Famer. Ali, Hall of Famer. You know, you going down the line, right? You feel me? So anybody can lose. If you got two top of the line fighters, right? Competitors.
Somebody gonna go. Like Coach Kenny just said it a month ago. If you're in the gym and you're training, stop being scared to take the effing fight. Somebody got to go, and that does not mean you're not great just because your went away. You can run it back, or you can go on a mean ass.
That's what MMA. That's what MMA is different. You may have a cat lose 3, 4, 5 times, man, still end up fighting for a world, you know, somewhere down the line, fighting to win a world title. Boxing, if you, like I said, you got two guys in there top of their craft, right? Then they fight, right? Back then, you had Leonard, Hearns, Hagler, Benitez, Duran, you know, you probably too young to know about people like Lupe Pintor, Danny Ray Lopez, you know, Alexis Arguello.
Heard of him.
That's even go even back further than that to when you start all of that, and then we talk about kings of boxing, Mount Rushmore fighters, greatest fighters of all time. How can you even have a list like that and you don't have people like Henry Armstrong in there? Ray Robinson. How can you have a list like you don't have Jack Johnson in there that fought during the era where he whooping on white folks and they got pistols shooting, calling them niggas and everything, threatening to kill him if he win the fight. And he whooping their ass with a smile on their face. Come on, bro. Let's go back even further than him to Tom Delano, who was born in a slave, who owner, so-called owner back then, bet the farm, I mean, in one fight, Delano won the fight, he broke him off a little cash, a man bought his freedom, went to New York, and was still running all the way to Europe.
So now you're saying all that. What's y'all advice to these new fighters? We got a lot of great fighters now. What's y'all advice to them about this whole current state and what y'all thinking that they start doing?
You can't even really go to the fighter before you go to the people that's leading the fighters, the teachers, the trainers, right? In order to produce a better athlete, you got to become a better teacher. Is that right?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And if you got the Gervontas, if you got the Adrian Broners or the Lomachinkos and people like that, right? You can't just cater to them because this is like school. You know how you go to school and you got these kids over here and everything the teachers say, they get it, they get A's and B's and all that. And this kid over here struggling. It don't mean they stupid or they dumb.
It's just they learn a little slower.
They need more attention.
Absolutely.
You feel me? So in order to produce a better athlete, I think we got to become better teachers.
But what's your advice on this current state?
What the current state of boxing? Like it's business now, man. It's not even
No more competition.
Nah, it's not. It ain't even about legacy or
History.
Yeah, right. It's just about business. Like what fight gonna make the most money, and then it's like you ain't gonna see the fight you want to see till they damn near
How they run when it don't even matter for legacy no more.
Right, nah. It's just gone, man. It ain't like it used to be. Like I said, it's different.
And you still got some good matches out there to be made.
That's what I was gonna ask you next.
And also, you got some good throwback fighters out there too, that I think that's good throwback fighters.
All right, so you getting deep like that there. So now, we used to be a problem because the networks became promoters. And they only promoted the fighters that they were vested in. Meanwhile, you got a whole bunch of fighters over here that can fight their tail off, but they never get the opportunity because they're not a part of this network team. Right?
Absolutely.
So that's where a lot of the problems come in. And if you think about it, we don't have HBO.
No
We don't have Showtime. Damn.
Not even
we
Fox.
don't have Fox no more. We don't have Bounce TV no more. NBC, ABC. You know what I mean?
Because they all left because they felt like the big fights weren't being made. So that's I think that's what they said. ESPN the top ranked nowadays. Because Because ESPN didn't feel like they
Okay.
didn't
So
get
ESPN was the last one. Top Rank supposed to have one more fight. What they had is
on
over.
Saturday. I
Okay.
think they
So
Yeah.
that's it, right? So now it's a golden opportunity for your grassroots promoters.
jump in and say, well, if y'all make these big fights, we get you on there for a year, 2 years.
Because they value
a big fight.
They're
And now
extremely-
you have to make it because there ain't no more.
They are
Netflix is taking it,
extremely.
but they only taking it for
They
big
are
fights.
extremely valuable right now. You mean because you got some of the promoters that we just talked about. They got a bunch of fighters at the top now, but they don't have the platform to move on. So you got to go to the local promoters. You feel me? That's why and shout out to Tony Jetta and his wife.
Jetta Promotions
Yeah,
just
man,
had a good card on Saturday.
Had a beautiful card Saturday.
Nice.
Maryland Live. I mean, it's perfect for boxing, especially when you come up that ladder like that. And it was a good look. And the people came out. So I'm proud that Tony was fighting. Tony was fighting too. Yeah.
So man, I gotta ask you this too. There's a couple more questions too. Who's your 5 favorite fighters out to watch right now? Like I
Right
give you
now?
mine and maybe I love Tank, I love Boots, Bam Rodriguez, that's my guy. Jesse Rodriguez, that's my guy. I like David Benavidez.
Yeah, nice.
And then I know he catches a lot of slack. And the next question will be the last question. I'll tell you, I like watching Shakur too. I know he catches a lot of slack because he's a defensive fighter, but I like Shakur because I like what he did in the last fight. He showed that. Now I don't know if the way that last fight gonna beat certain fighters, but
he didn't have to do that.
Nah,
I just
he
felt
didn't.
like he didn't have to do that. For
Ray
his
Leonard
last
made
fight.
that mistake with
Yeah, you ain't got to
Rand.
prove that to
That first
nobody,
fight.
man.
Just
Continue
fight
to do
your
what you
style,
do. It's what it is. And then you got hit with all them shots and all
you
that.
don't normally get hit.
Yeah, exactly. That you didn't have to get hit with.
No, we're a state trooper.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
'Cause
Who's 5 favorite
my
fighters?
5 favorite fighters, like right now,
Yeah.
I would say Tank Davis, of course. Terrence Crawford. Benavidez. I gotta go with Canelo.
Canelo.
I got one more. Damn. Adula Mason.
Dula, I like he's a humble killer. That's what I call him, a humble killer. What about
That's my
you,
favorite
man?
five
You can't use Sheed or Snoop. Can't you see how he didn't?
Yeah. I
Tank.
was saying the one that's out,
Canelo, Terrence, Benavidez,
What's your last one?
Inouye.
Damn! I got all
You
my
know what's a
last
dream fight for me? Inouye versus Inouye versus Tank. Inouye versus Tank.
I told Tank I would love to see that fight.
Because Tank can still, but that last fight looked like he can still maybe hit 130 on the nose.
He can hit
was
130.
fighting for that last
Yeah,
fight.
He came in barely 134.
Can't hit. I just, as far as my kid is concerned, our kid. I just hope that, he can come back and just silence all his critics. Me, I get up for shit like that.
Yeah.
You feel me? And it's dead too. I really don't think we've actually seen the best.
I don't need to. I be watching a lot of his old fights and I be like, oh.
I want him to tap into all that he is and what God made him to be, man, and just let the world know one. Now, if you go out on your own terms.
Yeah, that's one thing I was gonna say. That I hope boxing fans learn that there's no shot because he's in my top 5 favorites all time. Roy Jones, and I hope that
Roy,
situation.
man.
But that was in his prime. I don't think you've seen.
Let me say
but
this too.
I feel like the game retired him instead of him retiring from the game.
I would feel bad, if I didn't say this. We gotta stop overlooking Clarissa Shields.
Yeah.
We gotta do that. You know what I mean?
She's dope.
Be it man, woman, boy or girl, you gotta stop overlooking her, Serrano, Katie Taylor, you got Franchon Cruz, you gotta give these women their props, man. You feel me? Because they deserve it. Yeah. Y'all got your flowers from me.
There you go. So there we go. That's your 5. All right, now I gotta ask both of y'all. What's 3 dream fights y'all want to see? This is the last question before this interview. I know that I need to. What's 3 fights?
I want to
not
see.
dream. I want to actually 3
see
fights you want
Canelo
to see in a
and
prime.
Benavidez.
That's the same.
I want to see Tank Inouye,
That's a good one.
and I want to see. There was one more that I had.
I know who I want to see. Boots and Virgil. That could happen.
Virgil too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a good.
And they at 154 now too.
I wanted to see Boots and
Terrence, that's
Crawford.
me too, but I think that shit sailed.
Yeah.
I think if Terrence loses to Canelo and he comes back down to 154, I think him and Charlo gonna hash out whatever they had. Cause remember during that Earl fight, they had words afterwards. They kept. So I think that's a fight that Terrence, if he loses to Canelo, he'll fight just to end his career with. But I don't think we're gonna get Bud and Boots. I wanted that so bad, but I don't think so.
See that though. It's been a good matchup.
One more.
And I want to see Anthony Joshua come back,
fight
you know, full of self.
Fight who?
And
Don't say Jay.
I want to see him redeem himself, you know, from that early too.
Up against Dubois.
Yeah, yeah. Cause I think that's a fight he definitely should have won. He could have won.
If he was a little more focused.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much on the same thing, Barry.
We both wanted to see Boots and Bud.
Yeah,
We
that's-
both
I did
think
want
that.
to see that.
I wanted that so bad, but we both. I think that ship sailed, and I do think if Canelo beat Bud, I think he's going to mess around, go back to 154 to fight Charlo.
It's one more if I might, you
Go
know.
ahead.
I'd like to see Antoine Russell fight.
Richardson Hitchens, that's my dream fight.
Matias.
Yeah, any one of them.
Matias, yeah.
Anybody in that weight.
Everybody want to say it, 'cause I just sat down with one. I don't get it. None of these other champs, except Matias, he took a picture, but none of them saying his name. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
because he called. I think
He called out Richardson. That's a fight I want to see too, because
Yeah,
style
they fought
is
each